Welcome back. So, quick recap of our last video where we talked about it is impossible to not be a creative being because every single part of life is an extension of the creative life force, the source of life, and there's a natural impulse for creating in that is woven throughout the entire multiverse, and we are part of that. We are part of that weave, and so we just have to stop telling ourselves the story that we're not creative. That's really the bottom line here. And that this entire experience that I'm inviting you into, this mini class on unlocking your creative potential, is about building the muscle and a brain track that's already there. It just hasn't been used very much, possibly. Or maybe you're someone who has used your creative brain track, if you will. And this is just a way of elevating your capacities for with your own creative experiences. And we're going to unlock your creative potential in this mini class, right? And so how to approach this class is basically like a detective. We're going to sleuth out the energy inside of us that is no longer serving so that we can be intentional about what we would be inviting into the place where that other energy, the energy that's no longer serving us. And that energy could be thought patterns, it could be beliefs, it could be the way we talk to ourselves, it could be the way we hold pain or trauma in our mind, body, or life. All of those things are dying to be returned to a clearer pattern of life, if you will. I like to call it a return to love because the entire fabric of the universe is love. And you are too, by the way. But we have to sort of peel away the layers of programming and the things that we have believed otherwise, other than love. And that's what a creative process will allow us to do. I want to read you a quote. Self-healers are alchemists, and you're going to learn how to be a self-healer by way of a creative healing process. They transform their pain into power, their wounds into wisdom, the mistreatment of others into boundaries, the tantrums of their inner wounded child into red flags, and their generational curses into blessings. I mean, that's why we're here. That is why we chose to incarnate as a human being on Earth at this point in time. And while the world looks chaotic and crazy, and we're not even sure if we're going to make it through this birth canal, so to speak, I happen to live in the knowing that what's going down is an invitation for every single human being to come into an alignment with our higher consciousness, our higher self, our heart, and our creative capacities, because we're creating a new earth, and we have to have the muscle built in order to know how to do that and to work together as a collective. The way we've been doing it for centuries hasn't worked. How do we know that? Because it hasn't worked. And so we're gonna be engaging in new and more creative ways of creating our lives, our bodies, our health, our experiences, our loving connections, everything that matters to us, and our peaceful world, right? And in order to do that, we have to have a healthier, stronger muscle in creativity. It's like building a bicep. It's the same kind of idea. So we're going to sleuth out all that energy without judgment, without criticism. And we're going to go, oh, there's that part of me that has been so afraid of XYZ, or, oh, there's that part of me that is so anxious about XYZ, or gets so tight, or whatever the circumstance. We all have it. We all have our traumas and our worries and our anxieties, and we don't really have outlets we have them, but they don't always work, or not, some of them work for some of the things, but not all of the things. And so, as I said in the last video, I have come to understand that creativity is a huge outlet for moving energy, for alchemizing old energy that is no longer serving into more serving energy that is more aligned with life and with the energy of heart-based life, right? So, yeah, so that's the thing. So we're going to talk in the next video about permission, play, and what did I call? Well, in the next video, we're going to talk about permission play, and there's another P word, but for some reason it's slipping my mind right now. But before we go to that, I want to talk to you about color. There's a PDF that you'll be able to download. And one of the things, so let me back up a step and say, every particle and wave of life is light. And our bodies, our bones, they're made up of starlight and of various expressions of light, basically. And so we can consciously engage with light, and we can weave colors into what we know light being like a white light, right? We can weave colors into this light, if you will, and those colors have qualities that we might want to develop in ourselves. So in this PDF that you are welcome to download, there are 12 different colors, and they are colors that actually represent, each color represents a variety of divine qualities. So you can take this list and you can wear colors that you know, of a certain quality that you want to develop. You can put throw pillows on your couch or hang art on your wall that represent certain divine qualities that you would like to develop and become stronger with. And in particular, when we engage in a creative healing process, we can choose colors that activate our soul, because the soul speaks in images and color. That's a Carl Jung quote. Actually, the quote is just that the soul speaks in images, but I've come to learn it's images and colors and symbols, right? So we can be conscious and intentional about choosing colors and playing with them in our creative play, and it changes our energy. It infuses us and imbues us with those particular colors. And in my mind, it's like, it's very childlike, this playfulness in creative healing, which is it's like the most fun way I've discovered to actually heal, because the other ways I know of are kind of intense, you know, laying on therapist couches and, you know, all the things, right? I'm sure you've had your share of them. But playing is a different invitation. It's a different way of moving energy. And I don't know a whole lot of people. I mean, unless someone is colorblind, you know, most people enjoy color. And we're talking about colors in nature here, right? So any one of us would go out and walk in our neighborhood and appreciate a numerous colors in that just are happening in nature naturally. So we're gonna draw that into ourselves, and we're gonna fill our bones and our blood and our tissues and our muscles and our organs with color. And that will start healing and blessing us and changing energy inside of us. So that's what we have up for today, and that's how to approach this class. Oh, one more thing I want to say on how to approach this class. Approach it with curiosity. It's really hard for our ego mind to control the situation, and controlling the situation almost always involves self-criticism, self-judgment, the belief that we're not enough, and comparison to other people. And curiosity sort of settles all of that down. And when we just come to anything really with curiosity and just say, well, what would it be like if, let me just try this. What would happen if I tried this? How might it look if I did this? You know, or connecting to our higher self, which, you know, I'll teach you to do in the ritual video. What would you have me know if we're having this conversation with our higher self, like we're on a date? Because a creative healing process is a date with our higher self. It's like date night, even though you might be doing a creative play during the day. But, you know, everyone knows what date night is. Anyway, what would you have me know? I mean, those kinds of curiosities and inquiries and questions open up a field of intelligence and wisdom and guidance that you may or may not otherwise have known that was there for you. So let's go to the next video on permission and play and that other P word that I can't remember, and we will carry on.